Everyone has a fighter and a coward. Everyone has a leader and a follower. Which one you feed win the battle.
2004, sister got kidnapped, right? When you look at your record, 2004 happened, 2004 you fight it, 2004 you fight it, you didn't stop. Like, why did you keep going?
But this is what's happened. No, but I never spoke in any place. Soon as the thing happened, Dana White called me and said, you don't want to fight? We understand. I said, no, I'm going to fight. For me, it was very simple to accept Jesus, because God is so compassionate. How can he determine me to live in a way that he never been in my body?
2013, you had a conference, and he whispered to your ear, Jesus is not real. So what were your emotions when he said that?
My emotion was simple.
You couldn't already tell by the background, the gym, everything. Very special guest, right? Youngest UFC champion and businessman now, right? Vitor Belfort.
It's a joy. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for taking the time.
And when you said, leaders, we have a lot of followers, but not a lot of leaders. And that makes me think everybody today pretends to be something. And I think when you stop pretending to be somebody or someone like it, so I like to use other athletes, other CEO as an inspiration. And you're doing that. I can tell you are using people's life stories to inspire their inner leaders, that in everyone. So I say in everyone has a fighter and a coward. In everyone has a leader or a follower. Whoever you feed is going to win. Remember that. Everyone has a fighter and a coward. Everyone has a leader and a follower. Which one you feed win the battle. So everything is mental.
I haven't even asked the first question, and we're already out to some heat. But I think that's powerful what you say, because kind of the mission statement behind the podcast, between everything that I do, right, is that I think you can't be narrow-minded and thinking like, oh, I'm only going to learn from somebody that is where, like, let's say I wanted to be a UFC champion, right? Oh, I'm only going to learn from Vitor. I'm not going to learn from the principles from people that have run successful businesses. I'm not going to learn from principles of a mayor. I'm not going to learn principles. Like, people that are leaders in their respective industry all have something like in their mind that got them there. And this is that, right? Taking a piece of everybody's leadership and applying it more so to people my age, 18, 20, 25, people that want something but just...
You guys are the future. Do you know the responsibility? I always say the next generation is you. And you are preparing the next generation under you. So the 10-year-olds, the 12-year-old under your umbrella. I'm 40. So I have 3 generations behind me.
Yeah.
So think how powerful that is. I don't even know. I sometimes I meet people crying. You changed my life. You changed my marriage. You saved my family. Just because I said something in a platform. Because I took a stand and I said, family first. And maybe you ask, why not God first? Because God cannot be in a category of things. God is everything. People that are trying to put God in first, that means he's in competition. God is not in competition. He's in a category by himself.
I've never thought...
Yeah. So everyone say, God first, family second, my job third. And it's not true. Come on. It's hypocrite. We're always going to put the job first or the family first. Am I right? It's just become a thing that we can say. So I text one day, Russell, we text each other in Instagram. I said, God is not first in my life. God is everything. God is not on a category. And when you think that, you understand, wow, it's true. But we are very systematic. And life is very unpredictable. Am I right? Some people, one of the biggest leader the world knows is Steve Jobs, had a cancer, and that took him away. So you got to be ready to understand some principles align with categories, and some principle is everything. Without sacrifice, there is no glory. But Before sacrifice comes the choice. What you choose to sacrifice.
What you choose to sacrifice.
You
and
understand?
I completely understand, and I like what you said, that analogy of everybody has a fighter and everybody has a coward in them. But the person that you become is who you feed. And so that leads me, right? So kind of to summarize your story for those that don't know, right? 12 years old, 13 years old is when you really picked up fighting in general, right?
I was an amazing tennis player.
I was going to say, you played tennis, right?
Amazing. I was an amazing tennis player. I almost became pro in tennis. I was an amazing soccer player. And and it's funny because I had so much gift. And that...
A natural athlete.
Yeah, but I mean, just come with a gift. What is a gift? The ability to do things with my body. But where I realized I had an ability of my mind. So every amazing athlete, like Messi, brilliant, a quarterback. You have to be brilliant to play quarterback. So every athlete has an amazing mind because you have to be in a flow state. You have to be kind of in the moment so many times. And of course, it's just when you become an athlete, and some guys, they're so natural. And that natural ability that God gave you, I didn't have to work hard. But then comes the hard work and the lessons you learn with it. So it was pretty interesting.
Speaking about that, right? When you talk about 19-year-old Vitor, right? Safe to say you probably had the feeling that you were on top of the world.
Totally. So I thought I was unbeatable. And then becomes arrogance.
Oh my God! So this is what I was gonna ask. When you look back at 19-year-old Vitor, sorry, what was it that got you there? Was it ego? Was it anger? Was it?
So ego stands for effort, grit, and obedience. That's my ego. Okay, ego for me stands for effort, grit, and obedience. That's the good ego. The bad ego will kill you.
When I heard your other interviews, it was more so of like, I wanted to be known as the best when I got there. And it was your pride that took you to where you wanted to be. But I think, and this is coming from an outside perspective, looking at reading like biographies of CEOs, all these different people, right? It's their pride that takes them to where they want to be, but then they have to have purpose to stay there. How were you able to, because I know what you said also was that you had an epiphany, that you said that you promised God that when you got to that position where you would be at the top, you'll give him all the glory, but then you ended up like not fulfilling on that.
It's lie. We all liars. We all start with things. So when I signed that napkin in the press conference that I'm going to serve, if God give me the victory, I'm going to serve him from the rest of the life. It's just as many parents, as many husbands are going from the priest or the pastor and promise in the wealth, in the poverty, when things goes good, when things goes bad. I'm not going to divorce this woman. Nothing can separate from this woman. And divorce rate is just up the high. So the problem with people giving up, not just in their purpose, and I say, what is the purpose and commitment, the purpose and the calling of a person's life? It's easy to find that. Finding something that you love, something that you're good at. That's how you know your purpose. That's how you know your calling. I'm not trying to be a basketball player, because I know I don't have that ability. I didn't have that ability since I was a kid. But I could have become a tennis player. But why I didn't? Somewhere on the way, and I would say, why didn't I become a soccer player? I don't know. It's hard to know the reason. If I wasn't, I would be a good one. I don't know. But one thing leads to the next one. So what is the best decision you can make? Is always the next decision.
And I think your life coach was life itself and that pain. And I think that's what got you there. And I want to talk about something a little bit more serious. 2004, right? Sister got kidnapped, right?
I got married 3 weeks later.
You got married in 2004?
I got married in the end of December 20 of 2003. I was in fight camp. We didn't have. Me
You're
and my
like
wife-
disconnected from like.
So I was getting married. There is no honeymoon. I go back to the grind. I was preparing to fight Randy Couture.
But there's something when you look back at your record that happened in your life. Very traumatic, very catastrophic, very life-changing. Personally, I have a sister. I have a baby sister right now, 2 years old. If anything were to happen, I don't see me I can keep going, but it will take, I don't know how long to recover. When you look at your record, 2004 happened, 2004 you fight it, 2004 you fight it, you didn't stop.
Yeah,
Why didn't you stop?
Soon as but this is what's happened. No, but I never spoke in any place. Soon as the thing happened, Dana White called me and said, you don't want to fight? We understand. I said, no, I'm going to fight. I don't know if my sister will ever come back. And I will have another problem because that's the way of this might work. It's like telling someone, don't go to work, you have a problem. People should, I'm telling you, after COVID, everybody has an excuse. Oh, I'm sick. You're not sick, you just don't want to go work. You're lazy. Get your butt out of the couch. Stop eating popcorn. Go work. Go find something. When I see here in America is beautiful. When I see an elder serving a school with a stop sign, he's not making any money. What he's doing, he has a purpose. He's serving a community. That's what makes him alive. Do you ever ask that question? When you see an elderly guy just with the stop sign, you think he's there for the money? He's not even getting paid for it. But he needs something to get him out of the house. He needs to look, he say, I'm still serving my community. We are only alive because we are doing something for someone. And if you're not serving God, you are either serving money.
Going back to the sister, because I really want to pick your brain on that one. Like, why did you keep going? Like, what was there never like a period where you said, hold up, this happened in my life, can I just take like a mental break? Like, you did not stop.
So I'm gonna go for it. I'm sorry because I moved to another.
No worries.
So what's happened is I fought, I won, but when I came back, I didn't know how to breathe. So I trying to become this tough man that can keep going. I went to a depression. My career went sink bottom. I went all the way to the. I didn't want to sign with UFC. I just got out. I was very depressed. I was just trying to become fighting for money. I just become lost. I lost my identity. My marriage was going horrible. My wife was supporting me 100%, but I was in a deep depression. And I mean, if you are depressed, if you have anxiety, you know what I'm talking about because it's very easy for me to say, man, come on, cheer somebody up. That's not going to help. I'm just telling you. I'm cheering you right now, someone that has depression, anxiety, whatever. They are listening. They know what I'm talking about because when you're in it, it's like you don't see the end. You just don't. You just cannot get out of your house. You're just going through the motions. So what is happening when you have depression is something is compressing. So when you have anxiety, you're all the way to the top. You're upbeat. You're so anxiety. So you can't stop thinking. You're overthinking. You're overanalyzing everything. So both are very bad. So you got to find a middle ground. You have to find a joyful. The joyful state is when you find that place where you need to go high. When you get to go low, it's like sympathetic and parasympathetic kind of system that we have. Yeah. Eat and digest, fight and flight. So it's like we are bipolar by nature. You know, either we are eating, digest. That's how our ancestor was fighting in the caves. They either are eating, digest, or they are hunting for survival. And I was in that stage that I was married. I was angry. I was bitter. I was questioning, oh, why me? Why this happened? What I did wrong? Why my sister? I was all these things. I was having a battle with myself. God, I cannot accept that you did that to myself, or not even to looking my parents die in front of me. And then I say, we didn't deserve anything. And then we start comparing ourselves to others. That person is a bad guy. That person, why this happened to? So we start trying to compare. And that's a very bad thing. That's another thing. That's another trap when you start measuring your life stick to somebody's life stick. So I'm free now, but I'm looking back, remind myself right now, I'm going back to that person. I didn't see a way out.
That moment when all that unfolded, you thought you were trying to escape something that you never confronted. You were trying to, and I think it was a combination of things. I think it was you were trying to escape God and you were trying to escape the grief.
Yeah, I was trying to blame God. In the end of the day, I say that's his fault.
And I think that's what...
Because who I have to guilt for? You know, my sister is missing. She was a good girl. She went to have dinner, lunch in the break, and then she disappeared. And that's the stuff, because when you don't have nobody to blame, who are you going to blame? God. God is the last person to be blamed. And I mean, and I'm being honest with you, how many people are blaming God right now? My situation, this, poor me, poor me, poor me. And when you start reading the life of people, when you read the life of people, when you get to know the life of Jesus, let's say right now, maybe you don't believe Jesus as God, but you cannot deny him as a man. So there is no more humble and there's no more honest. For me, it was very simple to accept Jesus, because God is so compassionate. How can he determine to live in a way that he never been in my body?
That he sent his only son.
So for I'm saying, so God became human. So he had feelings. He felt pain. He bleed. He felt grief. He cried. He was betrayed. Everything you felt, Jesus felt. Everything you went through it, he went through it. On the desert, when he was tempted by the devil, people think he was tempted in the 40 day. No, he was tempted 40 days, and after 40 days, the 3 levels of temptation. What is the 3 levels of temptation? First, if identity, if you are. How many times you say to yourself, if I am a fighter, I can overcome this? Can I? So we are the first one to confront ourselves. I'm not capable. I'm capable of winning this match. Can I be the first? Can I win the job at quarterback? Can I get the job done? Oh, man, they have more guys. So why not you? So the problem is, like, we forget that what Jesus went through it in our... So for me, it was easy to accept and to understand God as he wanted me to live in a way. And now I used to see as a punishment, but now I see as protection. So that's a powerful... So you see, is every similarity. So I was in that moment of depression, guilting God, and then that's when I met God for real.
And I think going back, you fed it too. I think that's the big takeaway, because like you said before, everybody has a fighter, everybody has a coward. You were feeding the idea that it was all God's fault, it was this, it was that. Something else I want to bring up, I want to get your emotions that you felt during this time, right? To pronounce his name right. 2013, right? You had a fight with, let me see. Bisping, right? Michael Bisping, right? I'm not. Don't critique me. I'm not too much in the UFC world. I like lead. That's my thing. Is leaders, success stories, everything. And I analyze people's story. But back to the thing, Bisping, right? 2013, you had a conference. It was a conference for the fight, and he whispered to your ear, "Jesus is not real." Now, there was this video that I saw that you posted that was like really freaking cool. That was like, never test the lion, something along those lines. Like, and it was like a video of you ultimately beating him. But when you heard those words, and mind you, this is 2013. This was 10 years after the fact that you healed, you accepted Jesus, all these different things. This was a new Vitor. This wasn't the angry Vitor that probably would have I
call reinventing yourself. It's like a story of an ego. If you study the story of the ego goes very high. She beat the crap out of herself until she lose everything. And then she came and everything comes back. So become a new ego. That sometimes have to be you. You have to learn how to reinvent yourself.
Reinvent.
Yeah.
So what were your emotions when he said that?
My emotion was simple because we have I call the two animals that live inside of us. Remember, we have a fighter, a coward. Okay? You have a lamb and you have a lion. The lamb is a sacrificial animal. It's the one that is very cannot do anything. He becomes our food. That's basically becomes we call the sacrificial animal, if in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
That was Jesus was. But he's coming back as a lion. And it's funny because you see the blood of Jesus redeem us in the cross. But in Revelation 20, he's going to have a vase full of blood. But that blood is not his. That blood is the kings, the ones that are ruling this ruling nation, the politics, the athletes, the ones that defile his name, or the ones that choose another. So he's going to come and cutting people's head off. So it's very bloody to understand the Bible. If you squeeze the Bible, blood comes out of that thing. It's all about the blood. So the blood has two elements. It's bring you salvation and bring you condemnation. So you decide. You are your own God in a sense. Either you accept salvation or you bring condemnation. That's your mind. That's why people take their life away. They don't see a way out. Do you think someone killed himself by pleasure? Before comes so much pain, but no one can help them because no one knows what they're going through it. Or taking this med. Now it's very easy. Oh, let's go. Get this, get that. No, you have to go and treat the wound in the right way. So how we treat the wound, I did that. And when he said that words, Jesus wasn't real. What he did, he just fed the lion. He was just feeding the lion. He didn't know. He thought he was just killing me by saying that. But he was just feeding the lion that is inside of me. So now I have a thing. If you don't decide who I'm feeding. Let's say I park in a parking lot, I meet someone and that person trying to get me out of my peace. Want to recognize that I'm getting out of my peace? I say, no. I'm not going to let you steal my peace. The peace belongs to me. Not because you want me to take my peace. I'm going to let you because you become my Lord. You become my Lord. Whatever you decide to do in me, you are my Lord. So now it's easy for people to understand that principle. So when you are trying to decide what type of emotion I'm feel, you are my Lord. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's so powerful. So in the trash talking, with all this is just you become the Lord's person. So you have to hold your cool. Like I said, controlling aggression. I was controlling aggression. I couldn't spin. Yeah. I couldn't kick him there, but I was wanted to kick him there. So I'll wait for the next day.
And I think going back to what you feed, I think that's really what it symbolizes. But more than that, it's kind of having like that self-control, and I think that's very important. But now I want to get to, I think, the most important part, the most segment that I was looking forward to, right? On a personal podcast that you made, that you were describing that one of the biggest crises in the world is self-identity. People that think they're this, but they're really not this, or vice versa. And something that I wanted to put my input in there is that everybody says, you have to find yourself, you have to find yourself, you have to find yourself. I'm going to push back, and I think you have to find Jesus, and through Jesus, you find yourself.
Most people live their whole life, but they don't have an identity. They cannot describe themselves as who they really are. They can say, I was this CEO. I built $1 billion company. I did this, I did that. Okay, but who you really are? Besides because you think your titles who you are? No, because when you die, what are you going to say to God? God, I built $1 trillion business. Do you think God's going to be impressed? Do you think you can impress God will you bring your money with you when you go? No, your money stay here. You bring your family with you? No, your family stay here. And sometimes your ex-wife becomes a wife of somebody else. So let me be clear with you guys that the only thing you carry along with you, it's who you really are. And most of people don't know who they are. So I always tell people, you can only know who you are when you see the God that lives inside of you. And who is that God that lives inside of you? It's your choices. So if you don't choose Jesus as a person, as a spirit, as a Holy Spirit, you are just
replacing the God.
You're just picking the Jesus that from a lot of people are picking today. So a lot of Christians, they're trying to fit Jesus in their menu. You know what? I'm gonna have sex with many women, but you know what? I'm still Christian. I'm still Christian. Guess what? The grace of God will save me. No. His grace is not a disgrace that you live in. His grace had a price. So I always tell my son, if God the Father had to put his son in the cross, has to literally kill his son to bring to have the key of death, do you think he's gonna have pity on you to send someone to hell?
And something else that I really want to put as like the bow of it. There's something that, Patrick Bet-David, right?
Of course.
PBD. He was saying something that when I listened to it, I was like, wow, like this is powerful. He said, everybody has a God. You just don't realize it. Your God is whatever you are a slave to. And that's what Jesus came to do. He came to free you to not be a slave of your sins.
You're right.
And he came to not be a slave. But if you're a slave to like what you said, oh, you watch pornography. Oh, but I don't believe in God. Yeah, you don't believe in God because you don't realize that pornography is your God. And I think that's the real thing. And
how you know? Before we go, I want to just make you realize it's very easy to do. So get a piece of paper. Right now, I'll wait for you. Get a piece of paper. Get the piece of paper. You're going to divide the piece of paper in half. On one side, you're going to put your values, your morals, or your God, or I wanted to do this. And now you put your habits, what you do. Let's say you're doing a business, but you are lying to people just to make money. You're a stealer. You're a thief. Now you're going to put a glue on that paper. You put a glue on that paper. And then you're going to put in a blank paper. And you wait one day and trying to read it. You can't. You're trying to rip their apart. So all my values, all my things, I'm married. I put a glue on my paper with Jesus. If I rip that off, I destroy my identity.
I really, I can't thank you enough. I appreciate your time. The takeaways that I got from it, comment down below whatever the takeaways that you got from it. But the biggest one that I think you could read through everything, every answer that you gave through your whole life experience is that you could have either given in to two people, your fighter or your coward in you. And there was times that you actually did give in to the coward. Yes. But that's okay. And I think that is the message, that if you feel like you're in a moment in your life right now where you're saying, why do I keep making the same mistakes? Why am I religious or whatever it may be, right? Why do I keep doing the same thing that I told myself that I didn't want to do? Why have I not become the person that I wanted to become? Look at who you're feeding. Like you said, write down your habits, write down who you want to identify as, and see if that correlates. Because if it doesn't, it's kind of your answer. But if you did make it to the end, truly, like I'm gonna link everything. I'm gonna link, as you guys can see, I'm gonna link the Belfort Fitness. If you guys are in South Florida, check it out. The gym is actually really cool. But I'm gonna link everything, your Instagram, everything.
Yes, and if I can, you are a model. You're a model of this next generation. So I always say we're always looking forward. So I'm always looking forward. So example, we are observe things. Am I right? So yeah. What I'm taking from here, you are 18 years old. You're the son. You have the age to be my son. My son is 18. So what I'm learning from your generation is this generation has hope. I believe we have hope, but hope is dying because if you break down the word hope is hold on, possibility exists. Hold on, possibility exists.
You have a lot of analogies that make so much.
That's hope. So hold on. What's hold on? Hold Hold to yourself. If you can hold everything, if you not agree with me, it's okay. Maybe you have another beliefs. Maybe you have, but you cannot disagree with me if I live it. If I'm living what I'm preaching, you can. You have to clap your hands and you have to mimic in your standards. But you got to hold on, because today we have the most valuable thing for you. It's one thing. It's to understand that you can only judge the things that you choose to do today. If today you're choosing to do bad, you become the coward in you. But if you choose to do something that you hate, to feed the good in you, you're going to feed the fighter. And you're going to keep fighting until you start putting that devil in the corner and start knocking him down.
Feed your inner fighter. That's going to be the title, I think. Feed your inner fighter. But if you guys did make it to the end, I really appreciate it. Like you guys know, I love you guys. If you guys did learn something, comment down below what exactly it is that you learned. As always, check out all the social medias, everything, so that you never miss a video. But thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Looking forward for the next chapter.
100%. I really appreciate your time, guys. Appreciate your time. I'll see you guys on the next one.